Hey, nice day, isn't it? I hope that you have a good time today.
After the test, I would like to make some review of how people get a driver license here in Japan.
I think that is one of the very important steps for your life here in Japan without a driver license, that you cannot really drive far from your place, especially when you live in the place that the public transport do not really support you a lot, so that you really need to drive your own car to go to any destinations you want. But taking the driving test here in Japan is a very hard work that you really need to have a very good preparation before you take a test if you do not want to retest many times. And one thing that people always concerned when they take a test is how to win the test, even that they really have experience of driving in the country. They drive very smoothly. You know that the traffic rules, everything, but why all those things do not work in Japan, especially that the examiners here, they're really strict, and sometimes they really design things depend a bit about their mood. I tell you the truth that somehow that if you really try and not really lucky day, maybe that you fail without any reason. When examiner they sit on your car and they do not feel so comfortable with your driving skills, maybe that they deduct you a lot with a lot of mistakes. But when they feel like very comfortable, they believe in you, they believe in your driving skills, they may really give you a chance. So, but I really give you some essentials, techniques, something that you really need to remember to not replace it ever in your test. And today I would like to start. There are two types of course that two type of courses that they will give you. This name course A and course B. Normally they give you the choice A, but sometimes they really give you B. That we really need to learn some basic rules, and then A or B just an option, not really important. Now I'm showing you a map for the course A. That is what you really often take when you apply for converting your driver license in Japan. And this driving course in Ibaraki Prefecture. And if you take the really same driving center like me, that you will really learn some experience from me. Okay, first thing first, I will try to open Google Map in order to see things easily, because they really show the map more clearly, and we can really see at least that really quite similar with what we look in outside. Okay, let's have a look right now.
This is the picture that I really captured from Google Map, and now I would like to turn to 3D perspective that really we see things more clearly. Here that you can see that this is a driving course of Ibaraki in Mito city, and this is the place that you will start. There are three places here, but normally two of the first places for motorbike or for trucks, but the heading one here, the front one, is normally for car, and your car is parked here, and you will going to start from this. But before you start, there's something you really need to learn that in order to have a very good start, and there are 7 things that I would like to remind you. First of all, you really need to check your car. Check your car, it doesn't mean that you just look. Check your car that you really need to do it as if that you do in reality. You go around and check the tires, whether it's in good condition, there's nothing under the car, and when you are sure that the car is in good condition, you can get in. That is the second step. And when you open the window, try to look around one more time in order to feel more confident before you get in the car, and the examiner sits on the left, and another candidate will sit back to you to learn things from you, and you also do the same with the other people. And the next step, the third one, is that you adjust your seat. Make sure that you really sit comfortably. And after checking that one, adjusting, you really check the mirrors. There are 3 mirrors that you really need to take care. The left side, the right side, and also the middle one. So when you check, try to look seriously. The examiner, he doesn't like that you just only look things like just stuff, and that you do not take care of that one. And the next step, that the examiner will say starto. Starto, that means start, begin. And then it's a time for you to turn on the key and run the car. But when you turn the key, remember to step on the brake. You know that the brake normally that on or off, that's really important. And when your car stops, that means the brake is still really off, and that you really need to turn on. And then you really need to put D, that means drive, before you start. But in this area, in this one, before you really go through, before you really go through, that I will show you closer. Many candidates normally really go with this direction. But there's one thing that you really need to remember. Examiner will appreciate you more if you can really make like a little like vertically. You go a little vertically, go through this one. Do not really go from this one because you cannot really see clearly from your back. Don't forget to turn the right signal before you really go. And then you need to completely stop before this line. If you go through this without any good concern, for sure that you will have the deducted point. And I recommend that you should completely stop here, look on the right side and the left side before you join the traffic. And your lane is here, this lane, the left one. If you go in the wrong lane, this one, for sure that you cannot pass the test. This lane is for the bus, so that you really need to go in this one. I recommend that you really need to go in the middle of the left lane because you are about to speed up when you go through this curve. They require you to go up to 40 kilometers per hour. Some people tell me that they can even pass the test when they really speed up a little bit over 40 kilometers per hour. But I recommend for you that you really need to control not too much, not too fast. Just make it around 38, 39. And then how far will you keep that speed? Just a moment. When you can really go through that speed and you go through this intersection. And then you really need to stop speeding up and you need to make it slow down because that to you in this area that you are going to see the signal to show you need to make the speed of the car lower than 10 kilometers per hour. They're very slow. That slow moving is mean that you can stop your car immediately in some dangerous cases and they require you to go under 10 kilometers per hour. And when you go through this curve, there's something else that you really need to know. Ahead of you in this area will be the obstacles, something that will stop you in your lane. I will show you this one. This is something that you really need to take care. And before you approach that one, there's something that you really need to remember. First thing first, you really need to count that how many junctions or how many intersections that you go through. And ahead of this one, the obstacles is the second T junction that you are going passing through. And before you approach to the T junction, remember that don't turn the right signal very early. If you turn the right signal, you look both sides, back of you and the front of you, and you turn the right signal here in this area, that the other car behind you may thought that you will turn right and go to this lane. You will turn right and go to this road. So you really need to both and make sure that when you go to this area, you are going to turn the signal right. And before you do that, always in your test, look back and check whether that no car behind you before you do that one. After turning the signal right, about 3 seconds or 4 seconds, you really switch and move inner lane. And when you approach the obstacles here, you approach. Your car is right here in this position. Your car is right here in this position. Make sure that the distance between the body of the car and the obstacles about 1 meter or about a little less, but not so close, but not so large, because that may cause the other dangerous thing with the other cars passing through the different directions. So that about 1 meter is my recommendation. When you approach in the middle here, immediately you look on the left and turn the signal left immediately, because the time for you to do all the things in a very short time. We try to practice here and do it smoothly. Try to imagine the situation and do it at home before you take the test. And when you go this one, try to keep the normal speed, because never speed up when you go to the curve. That is the very important thing. Never speed up when you go to the curve. And when you go to this area that you are about to turn right in the T-junction, but there are quite a lot T-junction here. That what I can count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but there are 4 T-junctions that they really mark in the middle. So you are going to turn right in the 4th one that they have already marked here. But how can you remember? To me personally, I remember that T-junction because of here. There are some trees. And the wall. And before you really approach, you will see it from the distance, and you know that ahead of that one is the right T-junction that you go through. Otherwise, examiner, the one who always tell you which T-junction that you will enter. But unluckily, he always speaks in Japanese. Sometimes I hear that he speaks English like left and right, but very a little. So that you do not expect him to use Japanese while you are conducting your driving test. Just try to remember, and whatever he say, just say hi, hi. So really, so that you really listen to him and follow his instruction. Okay. But before you go this one, you remember that you really need to change your lane to the inner lane. But before you do that, a lot of other candidates, they cannot pass the test because when they decide to move inner, they do it quickly. That is a very, very big mistake with a Japanese driver here in Japan. Because before you move inner, you really need to look carefully and then you approach your car. For example, you are going through this one. Before you move your car here, in this area, you really need to approach your car like as close as possible to the separated line of your own part of the road, and as close as possible to make sure that no other vehicles go through your right side, and you really need to go slowly and take care of that one. And then you really need to change your lane in just the intersection. And before doing that, always look and turn the right side, the right signal. If you do not do that one, for sure that you will have a deducted point. Okay? And then you approach this one, and then you will move here. But when you move here, you have just only some seconds to change your car direction and approach here. So that I recommend that when you go through this one here, you approach here, right here, and just need to turn the signal right. You do not to look once again because the distance from here to here is very, 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 very short, and you do not have enough time to really think, look before you decide. So that I recommend that from this one to this one, you really need to approach as close as possible to this really marked line. Go here. And when you approach here, what you do need to just look in the mirror and then turn the signal right. But there's one thing. If you go through this T-junction, you turn right without any consciousness, for sure that you cannot pass the test. It's extremely difficult. You really need to stop here because of 2 reasons. The first reason is you really need to give the priority for the other car going in the opposite direction from the other side. They may go through or they going to turn left. You really need to give the priority to them. And another reason, here there is a wall, and that reason why you really need to stop and look on the wall. And you even that you move over to your body and look through like the side before you decide to go through here. But make sure when you have the right turn, don't pass the wheel through this one. Like approach is fine, but don't really pass here that for sure that you have a lower point. And make sure that you do not lose more than 30 points for the whole test with 100 points. And when you turn right here, your lane is always the left one. Your lane is always the left one. When you here, you keep your car in the middle of your own lane and go slowly. And according to your map, that you will turn left again. You will turn left here and go through the bridge. So before doing that, I recommend that when you go to this area, about 30 or 20 meters, you really need to look again on your left side. Remember that approach your car, completely approach the left side before you turn left, like approach before you turn left for sure. And before you approach your car, always look and turn the signal left. Remember that one. And when you make a turn right now, right here, you try to keep your car as close as possible. You know that a Japanese driver, they do not want any other vehicle going through them at the left side in this area. And that reason why when you drive and you sit here and the right, always look back, because maybe there are a blind section back of you. You need to really look back and see that. Make sure no one behind you before you really make a turn. And when you move to the bridge, your lane once again is number 3, not 2 or not 1, number 3. Remember that's one, number 3. And when you're going through the bridge, you will see another signal that's showing that you really need to honk. How many times that you really need to push the horn? I recommend that you do 2 times. Maybe 1 time, that's not enough for people in the opposite side to hear well. But too many, that's not really good here. That really need to do 2 times. And when you go on the top of the bridge, make sure that the speed is so slow. Even sometimes you can stop for 1 second to look before you really go down. Here, that you will see the stop signal. Here in Japanese, they call tomare. Tomare is a signal that to tell you you have to stop completely and look on both sides. If you go through here, that you cannot really pass as good as possible. And when you go here, that you will see the tomare. And ahead of that, about 20 meters. What you do is you look and approach your cars near this line, and turn your signal right and stop here. Before you drive again, try to look both sides, the left one and the right one, before you go here and change to this lane. It's really important. Normally that you drive in the left lane here, but I really tell you, remember that when you go from this to this, you keep your car here in the middle. Because you are going to turn right once again, so that if your car here in this lane, that for sure that you will need to move back here in this lane before you turn right. And that is the requirement of the test. Your car should be here, but try to not keep your car far from this line. Try to keep it as close as possible here. And right away, you really need to turn the signal right once again. Keep your car stretched here, and then stop once again and look in the other side of the street, whether that no cars going through in the opposite side or no cars from here. When you make the right turn here, remember that you go in this lane. Go in this lane, inner one. There's something different between the course H and course B. With the course B, you will go through this one and turn left in the front intersection. But with course H, you will just go here and turn left in the L road. So before doing that one, remember that you keep the right distance. You look and turn the signal left before you really have to completely turn in left to the L junction. Always approach this line before doing that one. There's something that you really need to remember with your techniques of driving to the L junction. They really make some fences here, and there's something that you really need to remember. Make sure that the wheels of the car never just run down in this area. If your back wheels just drop down, you have the deducted point. But if the front wheels of the car drop down, for sure that you fail. You fail 100%. So when you go through this one, you try to keep your car as close as possible. And my tip is that always look ahead of you and check the line. If you still see the line, you just go through this one slowly until you do not see this line. Again, you do not see this line. And then you make the right turn. And try to have the completely turning right of the wheel. Because when you do this one, your car really move directly to the vertically, and then go straightly from here to here. And you do the same when you go to this curve. Always look ahead of you. There's a line. You check that when your vision that you still see the line, you just go ahead until you do not see it again. Right after in that moment, make a turn. First of all, you really need to stop your car here. Look both sides because your road is very much smaller than this road, so that you do not have the priority. look at them. If the streak empty, that you can go through. But for sure that when you go in the driving test, the streak always empty. You just only stop for about 3 seconds and you can really go through here. The same, you drive on the right seat of the car so that you can really look out of the car to make sure that the wheel is still there on the side of the road and never really go down. If you go down, for sure that you cannot really pass that one. You go through the S road and stop here once again. Stop here completely. Stop here completely. But before you approach here, you turn the signal left. Look and turn the signal left. And when you go here, stop, because once again you go to the bigger road. You really need to stop and look carefully. If no car, you make the left turn. Keep your car in this lane. Keep your car in this lane. Go here in the middle. Make the left turn. Make the left turn. And then make the left turn. You go here once again. And here. You know what this? This is a walk-in cross. A lot of walkers in Japan. A lot of walkers. You really need to pay attention on them. And then if nobody over there, you can go through. But always go slowly. Look both sides and then you can really continue driving. When you go to this area, look again, turn the signal left and then approach your car closely to this line. Closely to this line. Once again, you go from this side, the other car, they stop here and wait you because you have the priority. But if they do not give you the priority, you have to give the priority to them. So, when everything fine, you make the left turn. You make the left turn and once again, you turn to your original direction here, from here to here. What is the next task that you do? That you will make the right turn here in this intersection. Before you do, remember that you make the right turn and there is another lane here, so that you really need to move inner lane. But when you do that, I recommend that when you go and approach this one, the lane that you went through previous time, and then you look back, check no car, the back side of you check the mirrors, everything fine, you turn the signal right, and then after about 3 or 4 seconds, you move your car here, and then keep your car in this lane. And if this intersection, they have the traffic light, if you got the yellow or red light, for sure that you would never go through. But if the green line, you try to really keep the lane here, but approach once again, look this line, turn the signal right, and then move here. There's a lot of things to do in this short time, because after doing that right away, when you move here, you will see that ahead of you, that will be a right turn once again. But before you do that, this is another lane, so that you keep your car at inner here, look again, and then before you turn the signal right and you move to the inner one. Go here. The wall here is something that you really need to take care, because if you do not really stop your car and look both sides clearly, maybe that you cannot see the car moving from this direction, so that you stop your car completely here, go so slowly later, and then look if everything fine. So you make the right turn here. Make sure that your car do not go through this middle thing, the hard thing. And your car keeps going straight here, back here. But when you go here, this one, once again, you will see that the walking cross here stops your car, even go slowly here and check before you go through this one. And go to this area, look again, nobody, turn the signal left, and then approach your car to this light, and then move here, your car will be there. So, your test is finished.
After making a round trip here, so I really hope that with my instructions that you will really get things clear, and then you'll feel more confident before you do the test. But do not get upset when you cannot pass the test, because the examiner really do think a bit depends on their emotion. Sometimes we do not really have good luck, we cannot pass the test. So that try to keep your positive emotion, try to feel confident, and do not hurry. Look careful, and then you will win. I wish that you will get a good result. And when you have a good score, do not forget to inform me. I feel happy to when I know that you learn things from my video and you can really pass the test. Thank you very much for watching my video. It's quite long, but I hope that you can really learn something. Goodbye for now and see you later in the next video. Bye bye.